go.
I can talk about it too.
Welcome back. You're tuning in today, the WBT. I'm Paul Jameson, your host of the show, Your Real Estate Today. We're not counting money, we're talking houses on this show. Everything having to do with it, everything that can help you ensure a stronger value for your home, your investment property, things to do to buy or sell. We're talking a little bit about this pre-inspection and home inspection, and I got off on a tangent, and I'm just going to keep going for a few minutes.
Where's his pills?
I got a dispenser out in the car.
Carrie, call.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
His blood pressure's going
Time
up.
for my shot. Okay, so before we got into what we were really supposed to talk about, I mean, because I'm dealing with these issues, and my
Right.
sellers do all the time, and even the buyers, this miscommunication around some of these inspections. And one of the biggest concerns I have is where there is an interest, the inspector has an interest in the outcome.
Right. Or, well, you know, a home inspector is an independent third party. But when you call in, or once you get like the roofer, or they should be an independent third party, but once you get the roofer or the HVAC guy, now I'm not saying all of them, I am not, please don't say that, but there's, you know, I found out a while back with some of the, you know, things that go on underneath the house that cause people to not breathe very well. You know, there's a lot of fear mongering in that business.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there's cases where people certainly need remediation. But what I've found out in some situations, the person coming out there, they're a salesman. They are a salesman. They make commission on selling you whatever job or service or whatever it is. And you're depending on this person to tell you really whether you need it or not,
Right.
but they're incentivized to tell you need it. That's a problem.
Yeah, and there are HVAC companies, to give you an example, where their technicians are commissioned salespeople.
Right.
And that's a question to ask your technician.
Right.
You know, the technician that's coming to service your AC, ask him, do you get a commission for everything that you sell me?
Right. And get a second opinion too, and call a home inspector. I mean, that's the thing about a home inspector.
That's my
We're not
point.
paid by any. We don't do any repair work.
Yeah, but let me just ask you a question, Preston, because I think this is critical to talk about. You know, everybody knows, hey, I'm raising my hand. I'm a real estate agent. I sell real estate. I help people buy real estate. I work with investment property. I have a management company. I'm raising my hand. That is what I do.
Right.
After 10 years on the air, I think people have figured that out.
Right.
But why can't somebody who isn't selling their home, that is interested in keeping it maintained, they're not going to ever go in that crawl space underneath the house. They've never been under there. They ain't going under there, ever. I ain't going under there. Why would they not call you and say, hey, can you do an inspection
Like a
for me in my
maintenance.
house to give me a checklist to work from?
That is a fantastic question, Paul, and I've asked the same question. We will certainly do it if somebody calls. I tried to market it a while back, and I know other inspection companies have kind of a maintenance inspection, because a lot of things, if you catch it early, you know, like I'll give you the example of a shower pan. If you catch that leak early, you know, it's an inexpensive fix. But if it goes on for a while and you have to replace that tile, you know, that can be a $9,000, $10,000 fix. If it would have been caught earlier, would have been, you know, a couple of $100. I don't know why, but it just never has become popular. I guess it's like, I don't know. I guess until we're forced to do something, it doesn't seem, you know, it's like, you know, why do I wait till April 14th to do my taxes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you're getting ready to sell a year from now,
Right.
and the intent is to mitigate the issues, negotiate the issues, and get clarity on the issues so that you're not dealing with them in the throw of the transaction.
Absolutely. Now you've got time to get multiple estimates. You know, be proactive instead of reactive. Being proactive saves you money. Being reactive costs you a lot more.
Right. Let me give you an example. All right, let's say for right now, TJ, our producer, has a house. And of course, knowing TJ, it'd probably be in Myers Park.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to have to change that shirt before he goes over there.
He's a high roller. So let's say he has a house.
Right.
Now, one of the things I tell people to do, and when I do an initial walkthrough, I look at the corners of every door and the
Yeah.
corners of every window.
Cracking. The lightning bolt cracks it.
Yeah. So let's say, TJ, you're at home right now, and you see those lightning bolt cracks in the corners of your windows and the corners of your doors. Does that concern you? No. Yes, he says. He's shaking his head, yes. So the reality is, do you know why that's happening? Do you know what caused that? Do you know what is going on there?
Is it an ongoing thing, or is
Yeah.
it something that?
Has it changed? Is it raised? Is it not raised?
Right, right.
You know, how long is it?
Right,
You know?
right.
You know, there are little things you can look around your home and go, I never noticed that.
And then
before."
one day the door doesn't open or the window doesn't open or close, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's gotten worse.
Right. Right. You know, and the other is the crawl space.
Right.
If you don't want to go in there, and the only guy that goes in there is if you have a termite bond that they go in there once a year. They're not looking for
Shower pans or
leaks. They're looking
electrical
for termites.
issues. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's almost worth twice your fee to have you go in my crawl space.
Oh, I know, and you know how they say, like, you know, if you meet a doctor or an attorney out, the last thing they want to hear is like, hey, you know, I got this thing in my neck, or could you look at my taxes? I get this. I'm at a dinner party. Preston, could you look at my crawl space? You know, right now,
Oh, dude.
I'm like, you know, I'm not really dressed for it. You know, like,
I think you need to carry one of those fancy little paper suits in your
yeah,
car.
exactly. Like, wow. I'm like, I don't want to hear those doctors or accountants or you know, complain. At least you don't have to crawl in a dark space with snake skins and spiders.
That's right.
Guess what I get asked to do for free, because they're a friend. You know how that goes. I'm sure you get real estate all the time. Real estate
Yeah,
questions.
they ask me, what's the value of my house?
Yeah.
I go, hold on a minute. I'll take a look. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Not really,
exactly.
but so anyway, well, that got me laughing pretty good. All right, so again, one of the things I would challenge you to do is, you know, if you're thinking about selling, or if you're you see some things that I would reach out to Preston on that and let them do a report. A lot of people have dropped their termite bond, and we've talked about this in the past too, or they've done things where they've removed the downspouts in their home and the gutters and all kinds of things. It'd be worth it to have that report.
Yeah, and unbiased. I mean, we're going to come out and, you know, I have no incentive or commission or anything like that. I mean, we're not, and I'm not saying that all companies, you know, there's good ones and not so good ones.
Sure,
But,
in the roofing business, there's some great folks.
Right, but-
and same with plumbing and HVAC, but I think you need to ask some questions.
yeah, but we're totally unconnected financially to anybody who does repairs.
Right. And so if you do an inspection report, do you tell people how much stuff costs to fix?
No, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I can give them a verbal, you know, but the problem is we go and do the inspection, and we give them that. If they go into closing with that amount, if we're not the ones doing the repair, and it comes out to be more or less, which it very well
But you
could
don't
do.
do repair.
That's correct, and that's the problem.
That's the nice thing.
Right. I tell you what I can do. I can prioritize it for me in a monetary, you know, this is the way I think it's going to, you know, monetarily, this is probably the order they're going to go in. But now that priority may change for you if, you know, if you have small children, you know, that fence around the pool is going to be a lot more important than, you know, something else. I mean, you know, everybody's priorities are a little bit different.
Right.
And I'll give you a case on that. You know, I had a fender bender a couple of years ago, and you know how they tell you to get 3 estimates? I got 3 estimates, $800 to $3,000. One was $800, one was $3,000, one was like $1,800 or something. That's the one they went with. But I was like, same repair, $800 to $3,000? How does that happen? That much variation, and that's just a fender bender.
Yeah.
So imagine a repair on your home. See, you're going to get great variation. So here I'm giving you an estimate on it, and I'm not even the one performing the repair, and then you get
Right.
one of those variations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we've got a whole lot more to talk about and a whole lot more time. So stay with us. This is the Show You Real Estate Today. Paul Jameson here, your host, here with Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina.